You can't always see how many men a woman has been with, but sometimes you can feel it in her energy. It's not about her body count. It's about her pattern, how she talks about love, how she treats intimacy, how she views loyalty. They all tell a story. Some women have slept with so many men that emotional connection no longer feels natural. It feels like work. They've been touched many times but rarely felt. And the result? A woman who looks confident on the outside, but is quietly disconnected inside. This video isn't about judging women. It's about protecting yourself. The Stoics practiced premeditatio malorum, anticipating harm. We are simply mapping the terrain so you do not walk blind into a battlefield. Because when you mistake a woman's emotional numbness for maturity, you end up trying to build love with someone who's already burnt out from giving too much to too many. Before we dive in, do me one small favor. Like this video, subscribe, and let's bring awareness back to modern men who still value peace over chaos. Let's get started. 1. She's emotionally numb. You can feel it instantly. Something about her energy doesn't reach you. She can laugh, flirt, kiss you, even say all the right words, but you can sense there's no real connection behind it. That's what happens when a woman has been with many men. She's given herself away emotionally and physically so many times that her heart no longer opens the same way. Each time she connected, she lost a little bit of depth, and over time those pieces add up. Now, she doesn't fall in love. She just repeats patterns. She doesn't bond. She entertains. She doesn't feel butterflies. She just plays along. And most men confuse this emotional emptiness with independence. They think, wow, she's so strong. She's so mysterious. But mystery isn't strength. It's protection. She's built walls so high that no man can touch her heart again because too many already have. This numbness is not the Stoic ideal of apatheia, peace without destructive passion. It is pathos, destructive numbness, disguised as composure. But here's where most men fail. They try to fix her. They think their love can bring her back to softness, not realizing that what's gone rarely comes back. 2. She treats intimacy casually. This is one of the most obvious and painful signs. When a woman has slept with many men, she begins to treat intimacy like a handshake, casual, fast, and forgettable. There's no emotional weight behind it anymore. You'll notice she talks about sex openly, almost like it's just another activity. There's no sense of sacredness, no hesitation, no depth, just experience. It's mechanical, and she might even frame it as confidence, saying things like, "I know what I like," or "I'm not shy about my body." But deep down, that's not confidence. It's desensitization. When you've shared something intimate with too many people, it stops feeling intimate. Her body remembers touch, but not connection. Her mind remembers faces, but not meaning. And the sad part, she doesn't even realize how numb she's become. That's why when you're with her, it might feel like you're sharing a moment. But to her, it's just another repetition of something she's done too many times before. And that's why the next point matters even more. Because it's not just about how she behaves with you. It's about how her mind sees relationships. Now 3, she can't stay loyal for long. Women who've slept with many men often struggle with loyalty, not because they're evil, but because they've trained themselves not to attach. Every time she's been intimate and walked away, she's taught her heart a dangerous lesson. Don't get too close. It never lasts. Now, even when she meets a good man, she doesn't know how to stay. She's addicted to the rush of newness, the thrill of the chase, the spark of a new connection. But when that fades, she's gone. You'll notice her patterns. Every few months, there's a new story, a new ex, a new lesson learned. But the problem is never the men. The problem is her inability to build roots. She's been in so many temporary bonds that permanence feels suffocating. Commitment feels like a cage, and loyalty feels unnatural. So she'll tell you she values freedom. But what she really fears is intimacy, because deep down she knows the more she gives, the more she loses. Here's the painful truth, brother. You can't build a forever with someone who's emotionally trained for temporary. You'll give everything, and she'll still be halfway out the door. Not because she hates you, but because she's wired that way. If you recognize these patterns and are ready to protect your emotional fortress from chaos, subscribe now. Join the Apathy Architect community and commit to building the internal stability that makes you immune to external games. Hit subscribe. Now 4. She's overly skilled in handling men. When a woman has slept with many men, she becomes emotionally experienced, sometimes too experienced. She studied male behavior, body language, and emotional patterns through repetition. So when you meet her, she already knows what to say, what to do, and how to get what she wants. She's not guessing. She's rehearsed. She knows when to act soft to draw you in, when to pull away to create chase, and when to mirror your emotions to keep you hooked. It's not instinct anymore. It's learned manipulation. At first, it feels like she just gets you. You think, wow, she's emotionally mature. But soon, you'll realize she's simply mastered the psychology of men. And the scariest part, she doesn't even do it consciously anymore. It's automatic. That's what happens when you've dealt with too many dynamics. You start playing patterns instead of people. So even if you're genuine, she's not truly responding to you. She's responding to what her past trained her to expect. You're not building something new. You're repeating her old story. And that's exactly why many men end up emotionally drained around women like this. Because while she seems interesting, what you're really dealing with is emotional repetition disguised as experience. But here's the thing, the next sign go even deeper. Because once you start seeing these patterns in her mindset, her lifestyle, and even her friendships, you'll realize it's not just her past that matters. It's how that past is still living inside her. 5. She's addicted to male attention. This is one of the most telling signs. A woman who's been with many men often can't survive without male attention. It's not just validation. It's her emotional fuel. She's been desired by so many that she's grown addicted to the feeling of being wanted without constant compliments, likes, or messages. She feels invisible. So she keeps the cycle alive, posting seductive selfies, replying to random DMs, keeping old flings on standby just in case. You'll notice she always needs someone orbiting her, even when she's in a relationship, because deep down she equates attention with worth. She doesn't know how to exist without male energy around her. And when you try to give her peace, she calls it boring. When you don't chase her constantly, she starts pulling away. Not because you did something wrong, but because she's used to chaos, not calm. But here's where most men get trapped. They try harder to keep her attention, not realizing they're competing with ghosts from her past. The many men who already taught her that validation is love. Picture Alex. Alex was constantly competing with a stream of texts his girlfriend received. He kept trying to be the most attentive, the most engaging, unaware that she was simply feeding an addiction, and he was just the main supplier. You can't win a game when the goal is not you, but the attention itself. 6. Her friend circle mirrors her past. You can learn a lot about a woman by looking at her environment. If all her friends glorify short-term flings, hot girl summers and hookup culture, then understand this. She's living in an echo chamber that normalizes it. When every woman in her circle treats men like accessories, sleeping around becomes a badge of honor, not something to be mindful of. They'll say things like, "Do whatever makes you happy." But what they mean is, don't get attached. And when you date her, you're not just dealing with her. You're dealing with the influence of an entire mindset built around instant gratification. You'll see it in subtle ways. They'll encourage her to post more, flirt more, keep her options open. They'll feed her ego because that's the only currency they understand: attention. But here's what most men overlook. You're not just dating a woman. You're dating her lifestyle, her environment, her influences, her standards. And if all her friends normalize sleeping around, you'll always be fighting for a spot in a world where men are disposable. 7. She speaks about men with bitterness or arrogance. This one cuts deep. When a woman has been with many men, she often carries emotional residue, pain, disappointment, betrayal. But instead of healing, she turns it into armor. She'll say things like, "All men are the same," or act like she's above relationships altogether. It's not that she hates men. It's that she's been hurt so many times that cynicism feels safer than hope. She might act confident, even dominant. But listen closely. Underneath that pride is exhaustion. Too many failed connections have made her believe that love is either manipulation or weakness. So she builds a persona, the unbothered woman, the can't-be-played queen. But that mask is protection from ever being vulnerable again. 8. She's always in a healing era. Every few months she's healing. New man, new lesson, new quote on her story about self-love. But if you look closer, it's always the same loop. She gets hurt, she heals, she repeats. That's not healing. That's resetting the stage for another short-term fix. She's been with so many men that her version of recovery is just emotional detox, enough to make space for the next connection. You'll hear her say things like, "I'm focusing on me now." But there's always another guy lingering in the shadows, a new friend, a work buddy, or some just texting situation. She's not healing. She's avoiding stillness because stillness would force her to face the truth. She's given too much of herself to too many people, and now she doesn't know who she is without them. Here's the reality, brother. You can't heal a woman who doesn't sit long enough to feel her own pain. And you can't build peace with someone who only feels alive in chaos. None of this means she's evil. It means she's tired. Tired from giving her body away to men who never deserved her soul. But that exhaustion comes at a cost. Because when a woman has been with too many men, her heart starts confusing attention with affection, lust with love, and control with confidence. And if you're not careful, you'll walk right into her cycle thinking you can fix what a dozen men before you couldn't. So don't hate her. Just recognize her pattern, because awareness saves you from heartbreak. Real masculinity isn't about judging women. It's about protecting your peace, your time, and your energy. That is your ultimate Stoic command. If this video hit home, do me one thing, like subscribe and share it with someone who needs this truth today. Because real masculinity isn't about judging women. It's about protecting your peace, your time, and your energy.